So this project is our Zentangle project. The first part of it is filling out, drawing in a value scale worksheet. So this project goes over value as well as line. So I'll show you some examples before we get to the actual demonstration. So you are going to be choosing an animal, and then you're also going to be choosing a person in order to turn them into this Zentangle version of themselves. So you're going to be outlining the large shapes, and then within those outlines, you are going to be adding in pattern, like so. Some examples, inspiration for different kinds of patterns you can use, right? Now these examples so far that I've shown you are all done pen, paper, with marker, but let me quickly go past this. I'll get back to it. This is done in Adobe Illustrator. Okay. Adobe Illustrator. So same concept, just done digitally. So that is what we were going to do. Like so. Let's go back to our first part. This is our, here we go, the Zentangle value scale worksheet. That is what this tutorial will do. My next tutorial will go over the full demonstration of the Zentangle itself. This is your practice leading up to doing that. So on Google Classroom, there is, this tutorial will be linked here as well, but the value scale worksheet is here. So you will either copy and paste it from here, or you can copy and paste it from the website, one way or the other. And then make sure you're in Citrix, right? We've logged in. The link's on the daily slide like usual. And then we're going to open up Adobe Illustrator from here. So Adobe, let's spell it right, Adobe Illustrator. It doesn't have an icon on the desktop, but it is still here. So we're going to create new. Click on Art and Illustration. Then call it Value Scale Worksheet. Always in inches. Don't leave it as points. Change it to inches. And then 8.5 by 11. And don't start yelling at me right now. It's not letting me find. There we go. We can move it up. I think if you press enter too, it'll just do it. I have so many things open. Enter. It's been one of those days, guys. It has been one of those days for me. No. There we go. There's create. Click on create. All right. So now, you definitely want your layers panel open like you always do in Photoshop. You'll notice it looks very much similar to Adobe Photoshop. There's a toolbar. There are layers. If you can't find your layers, you always do window layers. Same concept, same idea, but there are different tools within our toolbar. So that's a main difference. So we should still have that image copied from the project page. So if we paste it, nope, fine. I'll go back. Oh yeah, because I was copying, remember how when you're in Citrix and you're copying and pasting things, you have to copy and paste from the Chrome on the school desktop. I neglected to remember that. So I will take myself to the project page here. So please make sure you guys are doing that. dopicoart.com, more, graphic art and design, Zentangles. Scroll down and find it. There we go. And look at that. I do have a PDF tutorial, but I wanted to create this video for you as well. So copy from there, then edit, paste. Okay, great. Over here in our layers panel, we can always pop it out as well. You click on the plus icon, create new layer, and then lock the layer underneath here. Click on like this empty space next to the eyeball. Okay. You're going to be drawing on layer 2. So the first value scale, I want you creating it using all lines. And then the second value scale, I want you creating it using all shape. So if we look at the example, all line, all shape. You'll notice to create a darker value, there are more lines. The line quality is thicker, therefore it's darker. And there are more lines, so they're closer together. Same goes for the shape. The line quality is thicker. The line weight is thicker. There are more. Well, actually, there are the same amount of. Well, no, there's more shapes. There are more shapes. Yeah, see that? See, it slowly gets more and more shapes. This one just adjusted the line weight, made each line thicker. This added in more actual shapes to create the value. So remember, value is from light to dark. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 value boxes in these value scales. So let's start filling in. So I'm going to zoom in. This first value scale there that I have just with the color or with the gray tones, that's for reference. So you know kind of the value we're going for in each box. So let's go over to our toolbar and we're going to see if things are in the same spot in the year 2020 that they were in years past. Ah, look at them, putting the pencil tool where it really should go. So if you take yourself to the brush tool, the paintbrush tool, click and hold, the pencil tool is what we'll use first. So pencil. We want down here, this is a fill. So if you double click, actually, we don't want that. We want it to be none. So the fill, we want it to be none. So it has that line. This, the open box, the stroke, double click, we want that to be black. And it always changes it to white first. Just make sure you're doing it one more time to make sure it's black. Okay, so let's start doing a line. Again, make sure you are on layer 2, on top of layer 1. And maybe I'll do a zigzag. Now what's nice about the pencil tool is it kind of smooths things out after you draw it. See that? That's what we want. If we go to window, let's go down, window stroke, we want that panel up as well. So your layers panel should be up and the stroke panel should be up. Okay, and then it'll open up really tiny like this. I want you to show the options. There you go. Because then we can find the profile of our line and we find the weight of our line. So right now the line I just drew, the weight is 1 point. So I can thicken it, right, from there. I can, but of course we're in number 1 here, so it would be pretty light. And then you can change, but I'm going to make this thick just so you can see what the profile changes look like. So the profile down here, all these different options, see that? Changes the overall look of your line. So you decide, it's up to you, what your line profile looks like. But again, I'm looking for accurate values. So, ooh, that one's kind of fun. So I'm going to use the selection tool just to click off it. See that? So you're going to fill your box with lines, with line weights and line profiles that match our values. So let's go, since this is box 1, I'm going to make it pretty thin. Say I do that. Now you can copy and paste the line that you've drawn. So you can do Control C, Control V, and then you can move it over. You can scale it, right? So you can kind of approach filling your box that way. Or you can keep just drawing the lines. That's fine too. And you can move the arrow keys on the keyboard to make some subtle movements, right? But I think what I'll do is I'll keep drawing. So I'm going to use my pencil tool again. And I'm going to kind of follow my line just because that's the pattern I'm personally doing. I make sure it matches the weight and the style that I chose for my first box. And we go from there. Okay, so as we progress, we get darker. Now I don't know, when I'm doing this, I kind of did my demo going from lightest to darkest, you may find it easier to go darkest to lightest. It's really up to you. Now, shape. So that's the pencil tool. Okay. Now, let's see if they kept the shape tool where it's always been. Yeah, there we go. So if you click and hold on the rectangle, you have all these options. So I'm just going to use the ellipse for our demonstration, and I'll start in the darkest box. So still with an empty fill here, and still with a black stroke, we can start drawing some circles, like so. Again, try to keep it as contained as possible into the box. Okay, like so. And remember, this is the fourth box, so it's going to be my deepest value. So I'm drawing, like so. And then you can use this selection tool here, and you can click and drag a box around what you've drawn. Select them all at once, because then you can up your line weight all at once, and then change your style all at once. Okay? So that is how we create our value scale worksheet. When you're done with this, you want to hand it in. File, save as, instead of Illustrator. Yes, Illustrator is different than Photoshop. Okay, that's fine. File. Where is it? Well, number one, let's save it. If you're not done with it yet, of course, we remember value scale worksheet. Leave it as the file that it is. This PC, your H drive, save it in there, right? But what we want to do, I'm going to zoom out. What we want to do, because they have to decide to change things on me. There it is. Yes, it's all coming back to me. You do out of Illustrator. You can't do a file save as JPEG. I wish you could. You do file export as. Then it gives you the JPEG. So, sorry, my brain did not remember that when I first started speaking about it in the video here. But again, put it in your H drive, this PC, Cito Pico, open save, and then you'll turn it in on Google Classroom. Okay? So again, to save to hand in, file export as, then you have your JPEG option. All right? So like I showed you before, on the project page is a PDF tutorial of everything I just spoke about, but I created this video because I know you guys like to have both available. The next tutorial will explain the actual Zentangle assignment. This is for your value scale worksheet. If you have questions, let me know. Reach out in an email.